One of the jobs I do, which is a little bit weather dependent, it's either February or March, is prepare my growing beds. And it's this year, we've had a relatively dry February and with overnight frost, but it's been pretty dry most of the month, whereas last year it was very wet, and so I didn't do this job until March. And I'll show you what I'm going to do is I'm going to feed the beds and rotivate it to break up the compaction. I use this plastic sheeting, and I have 3 large beds. That one I did prep in the autumn, so that's actually ready to plant, and that's where the broad beans and the potatoes will go in first, but that won't be until the end of March. This bed, if you look, I've been putting compost and bits and pieces on it, and I intend to rotivate this now shortly. I've got my the only thing that was planted is at the far end there, which is my garlic, so I'm obviously leaving that, and then once I've rotivated this, I'll then put the plastic sheeting back over it so it warms up before I need to plant. And then the other bed is this bottom one, and again you can see it's quite compact. I've got the remnants of some leeks which I'll rotivate in. Here are where my sprouts were, and you can see how woody those are, so I'm going to have to dig those out, those stumps, before I rotivate. The leeks are quite soft, so they can just get rotivated in and added to it, and what I'll do is I'll be adding some feed to this bed before I pull the plastic back over and it's ready for planting. I dug those sprout bases out, and then I have this, which is a tiller, and it didn't cost too much. I think it was about 60 quid, and I've had it about 10 years, and it's handy just for doing this sort of job. So I'll show you what I do now. Right, so that's taken me about 45 minutes, and I've been up and down the bed, and then I've gone crisscross the bed. And what I'm going to do now on this bed, I'm going to put some pelleted chicken manure down and then rake this flat. Why I didn't bother pulling any of the weeds and stuff out. Well, with the black plastic stuff on, the weeds won't grow. They might come up through the holes a little bit, but when I'm planting, you basically do the bit of weeding then. So you can go a lot of effort having to take all the weeds out the soil and stuff, whereas I just rotivate them in, put over the black stuff, and you find that the suppression of the light stops them coming through. So it's a job you don't have to do. This is the chicken manure I use. This is about £12 I think for a container, and I'll use, on this size, I'll use the whole container on that bed, and I've got another one for the middle bed. And there we have it, all ready now for the plastic to go back over, and then it'll be ready for planting. And this one will be planted probably about March, so with the plastic over and the spring sunshine, it should warm the soil up before I need to plant on it. these have been burnt. This area here is for my peas, and then I've got brassicas and then onions further up. That's what I'll be planting in it. And you might say, well, if you burn the holes, you have to plant things in the same place every year. Well, what I do, every 2 years, I turn it around, so the peas will be up the top end and the other stuff down here. And every 4 years, I intend to move this one onto the top bed and vice versa. So there is some form of rotation. So there we have it. I'll be back later in March to plant this bed up.